Solo.
And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We have some comments. I got 9 people waiting. Maybe I should start streaming in the afternoons again, except, that being an impossible thing in my life. Sajid said, you and this weird edition of Maid's Night again. Sigh. Yeah, dude. I haven't played Spirit Island. I mean, it's probably been 4 months since I put it on the channel, and it was a patron challenge where I did the major build with Starlight, so that was pretty nuts. We have Tabletop Troubadour, psyched for some story time with Greg, horror style. We will definitely get to that. David Coleman, hi Greg, great to be back with you on the island. Best of luck, thank you, sir. I will need it. And Alfred Wallace, the stars align. A blizzard closes work, and I get to watch Greg on a tropical island. Felician Farkas says hi, and Otis, yo, Nature Incarnate is here. It is here indeed. I've had a bit of a, I guess you can say tortured history, tortured on-ramping in getting Spirit Island. I was expecting a review copy from Greater Than Games. Greater Than Games was purchased out by Flat River Group. Flat River Group brought a new group in to handle media stuff, so I was no longer getting a copy of Nature Incarnate. I did, however, get a copy of the premium token pack, so I got halfway there, I guess. So I purchased Nature Incarnate very, very late. Just got it a couple of months back. I have played multiple games with friends. I played three Spirit games, 2 Spirit games, had some really cool experiences. I have a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of content, and that's great. I don't know. Like it's been good. There's a lot to explore here. I definitely love it. I would not recommend Nature Incarnate with the same intensity that I recommend all the other stuff that came before it. Horizons is kind of on the fence of that, and look, I just think some of the spirits are really, really strong, and if I was a newer player, I'd find that exciting, and now I'm just like, I just don't find the challenge. I find Hearth Vigil very strong. I find Stompy McStomperson just bananas. Earthquake is really brokenly strong in my games of it. The ones I like Wounded Waters. I think that's an interesting challenge. I do like Breath of Darkness. That said, he seems a little bit duplicative. It's almost like if Shadows and Lore had a baby, they become Breath of Darkness to me. So I kind of like Shadows and Lore more, probably for nostalgia reasons, but Breath is a cool little spirit. And I do like Delirium. I think Delirium brings some interesting things to the table, although they feel a lot to me like Trickster, and I do have more fun playing Trickster, and that's just primarily because of the way they use Strife. That said, the Incarna's fine. It's super flexible. I think Eric Royce has gotten better at developing spirits and creating synergies and interesting things, but because he's gotten better at doing it, they are just naturally better. So that's a thing, and for me and how I approach games, I don't need all this variety. I like having things that I really, really like, and I just play it over and over and over again. And I think that's part of the reason Mage Knight has ascended to the top of my favorite games, because it is what it is. There's no additional content, and that's what I love. And it's just been this constant, like, oh, now there's 8 new spirits and 17 aspects and more scenarios, and yeah, I could just not play the content that's there. That's fine. But it still is there, and it still feels like more, right? And more to kind of make that decision about what the heck I want to do with it. But the new Habsburg mining expedition is solid. I don't think it radically changes the game the way Russia does. It does give you a lot of rules overhead, so this would be a more advanced um, uh, adversary to go against. As far as if someone's not really used to the rules of the game, I would definitely not recommend Habsburg Mining Expedition. I do have all 4 of these special tokens that go with them to kind of remind me how the steps are changed. And I'm glad to see that they finally got the art right, where the after the build step actually is put on the spot after the build. What a novel idea that is. I do like all of the extra Healthy Island cards. I do like the changes to the decks, even though I still never felt that Growth or Sacrifice was that overpowered. It is what it is. I do like the extra fear cards. So look, there's a lot that I like. I do like the fact that they've decided to be smart with the special card for the mining expedition, so we know exactly where that goes. So all of that I think is really, really good. So Madi says, hello, how's it going? For some reason, Nature Incarnate is still not delivered in Europe. I haven't still got mine yet. Interesting. Otis says, Breath is the spirit I play best from them. Other than the Heart Vigil, that one's just always got it. I suck at some for some reason. I have not played with Sun. That is the only one I have not played with at all. Jonathan says, ooh, what's this? Nature Incarnate in the middle of the day. Agree that bloat is getting out of hand, and I get it anyway. Yeah. Right? And I'm going to get the Dahan themed expansion, because again, that was the expansion that was promised to us before Nature Incarnate, before Horizons. And that's the one that I talked to Eric Royce at PAX Unplugged, and he seems really excited about. And I would expect him actually back on the channel to talk to us more about that as it gets closer. Seems like he's gearing up for a full media blitz for that one, and I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued about that one, and I'm intrigued for the reasons behind why it's going to exist, and I'm intrigued by Eric Royce's process in developing it, and I'll kind of leave that there for now. So, yeah, but for me, like I was not supposed to be streaming today, and some things kind of fell in place where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to stream. So I'm actually really excited to be doing this and glad to see so many friendly faces. Tabletop Troubadour, does your disappointment with the additional content come largely from being a content creator, or a player? I think that's a fair question. I think there is a sense that extra content does almost feels like a work assignment for me when I'm like, this is like one of my main games, right? So it's like, oh no, it's more that it's like I I want to play everything that I have. I think that's fair, but I also feel like this idea that content blown expansions, it is something I felt in games before as a content creator. Again, it happened. Arkham Horror LCG, I stopped featuring on the channel long ago. I sold half my collection gladly because I felt that game was kind of getting too much and going in directions that didn't interest me as much or seemed redundant to what already existed. So I think that's a fair question. I think it's a little bit of both, but more just as a player, right? It's more of like, even when I play with my friends, I have a lot of memories of playing with my friends, us trying out the same spirits over and over and seeing new interesting combos. And now you've exponentially increased the number of possible combos by so much, it's almost like more of a crapshoot. And I and I'm not going to be there telling my friends, hey, don't play these 6 spirits because they're too strong. So I feel like some of the games have almost become a lot easier. Our win rates have gotten a lot better. Yes, we've got better at the game, but I just think that some of the spirits are just so stupidly straightforward in their approach and how they just dominate the game, that I just, I don't love that about that. I don't love that development in the game for me personally. So, but yeah, it's definitely something I've actually thought about too, before. But I think that's a really fair question for sure. Mark Dandridge, howdy. Hello. How are you doing, Mark? Tabletop Troubadour, are you going to either Origins or Gen Con? I am not this year. My what's the word? Conventions for this year will pretty much be down to PAX Unplugged. I have a lot of stuff going on in my career the next 12 months are going to be rather insane. And we'll kind of get more into that in the upcoming months. Daniel Fullner says, hey from Germany. Hello, Daniel. All right, let's get the setup. I will start with a quick story time with Greg before I forget this, as I used to do when we had new spirits. When we have a new spirit, I think I did this with the Horizon spirits as well. I will read the blurb on the back. So, story time with Greg for Breath of Darkness down your spine. In the open spaces of Spirit Island, the night sky, when clear, blazes with light from the moon and stars. But not all of this light reaches the earth. From time to time, on ever shifting shadow, ever-shifting shadow writhes across the land, bringing a darkness deeper than found under any jungle canopy. It seeks out those who are isolated and alone, and swallows compatriots and communities alike into its lightless void. Some return, others do not. Many Dahan suspect this may be another form of Shadow's flicker like flame. Its whispery voice crackles like fire, among other signs, but keep cautiously clear of it, as it has made no requests of them. Set up, put 2 presents. Well, let me get my board. So rolling a die, I rolled a 5. So we are on board E. I have played this matchup exactly 3 times off camera. I got my butt soundly defeated twice. Again, I do like that Breath does feel like one of the weaker of the new spirits, and the complexity probably really adds to that. So there are probably tricks with him that I have not fully figured out, or her. I dare say do not want to misgender Breath of Darkness down my spine. That could be have some dire consequences if I do, depending on how he or she is about these sorts of things. So complexity high, we have put 2 presents on the board, one in the lowest numbered jungle, along with the Incarna for darkness, and then one in the highest numbered jungle, which will go there. We are also going to have set the Endless Dark tile next to the island with 1 explorer on it. I will read the rules on that. You start with 4 unique power cards. Here they are, and 0 energy. Again, playstyle abducts lone invaders to gain fear and keep them off the board for a time. Its mobile Incarna is particularly useful for this, reclaiming printed sea invaders to escape its void in mass, so can be quite painful. Has trouble with built up lands and may need to scatter invaders or take a major power to deal with them. Yes, I found major power super important. I got some really fortunate draws in my last game, the one that I won. Some of your powers: offense, very big on control and fear. Yeah, it will be generating a ton of fear. It uses beasts and strife, and it's what is this? A space of strange and infinite darkness. So, special rules: terror stacks the land. You have an Incarna. This is the Incarna. The empowered side has a black border around it. The non-empowered side is there. We start on the non-empowered side. We empower the Incarna after we uncover this space on the top track. You may abduct 1 explorer or town at the empowered Incarna site each fast power phase. To abduct a piece, move it to the Endless Dark. When pieces escape from the Endless Dark, move them to a non-ocean land with your presence or Incarna. If they have no legal land to move to, you lose. That's super interesting. I don't know if why would they have no legal land to move to? Non-ocean, if you only had presence in the ocean, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that seems really improbable that they would have no legal land to move to. When your powers would directly damage or directly destroy, I guess you could have your presence only in the infinite darkness. That could make sense. Anyway, when your powers would directly damage or destroy the only invader in the land, instead abduct it. Check if it is alone at the start of the damage destroy instructions, and the infinite darkness is not a land. Shadow touched realm. Your land targeting powers can target the infinite darkness as if it were a land, ignoring range. The infinite darkness is an inland and it has no terrain. So if you have a power card that requires a certain type of terrain, that would not work on the infinite darkness. Our top track is 1 energy, then 2 energy, moon, 3 energy, and power your Incarna, 4 energy and an animal, 5 energy and an air. We will be doing a lot of top tracking to get to that empowered Incarna. That is very important. I found it really important against Habsburg mining expeditions, especially. The battle track is 2 card plays, move a presence, 3 card plays, get a moon, reclaim 1, and 4 card plays plus an heir. Our growth options are reclaim cards, gain a power, move your incarnate to any land, and all pieces in the infinite darkness escape. The growth option B is gain a power card, add a presence. Within range 3, 2 pieces escape from the infinite darkness. Now, pieces could be anything. It could be presence, it could be beasts. You'll see how that plays out. And then growth option C is add a presence 1 away from where you have presence. Add or move your incarnate to a land with your presence, and 1 piece escapes. And then gain energy equal to number of card plays. We will be spamming growth option B a whole lot. The infinite darkness board is here. Uh-oh, I just dropped all the energy all over my floor. So I can get most of that later, but let me get this back in the box where it belongs. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to get most of it now. I lied. Sorry, this is really riveting television. Watch Greg pick up all the energy in the game. All right, the Infinite Darkness tile says it is on the island, but obviously we don't put this on the island board, but it's considered on the island. It isn't in a land. It isn't on any board. This can't be a sacred site, so if I have 2 presents there, it's still not considered a sacred site. It's just presence that happens to be there. Spirits can't target this, even if they have presence here. We can have, except we can, our powers can target it. Our land targeting powers can target it. All right, adding blight here doesn't destroy presence. Special rules that affect lands do nothing here. Invaders can't take actions here. Pieces here are on the island when checking for victory defeat. Trapped in the Endless Dark, fear cards, and token events affect pieces here as if this were an inland land, but can't remove invaders here. When they would, instead generate 1 fear per invader they would have removed. All right, and again, we start the game with 1 explorer on it. We're going to go to Habsburg. So let me actually shuffle a bunch of decks, and then we'll go through the Habsburg rules for sure. All right, Otis, is this the hardest matchup for it? Left out loud by a decent bit. Yeah, it was good. I was like, all right, cool. I think it's one of the reasons you really need to get that Incarnate empowered. The additional loss for addition for Habsburg gets really tight. I got super lucky with my major powers. Again, I had a Pent-Up Calamity, which was the card that finally got me the win. I had Venomous Spiders, so I was able to skip a couple of actions when I really needed it. And then I also got that card that targets 2 from presence in a Sands, where you get to skip all actions. I forget the name of it. Something Vanish Softly. I don't know, but it let me move a bunch of explorers, and it was really strong. I hit the enhancement to the elemental enhancement of that, and just removed 7 invaders from among my lands, including the 2 in the target land, and it was pretty significant. So, but again, we're chasing a fear victory, almost guaranteed. I'm shuffling the fear deck now. The fear deck is going to be 4/5/4, so it's a pretty reasonable fear deck. We will get to terror level 2 fairly quickly with Breath of Darkness, assuming my abduction powers do their thing. So hopefully we can get that working for us pretty well. So 4/5/4, so 4/5/4. We're going to get our terror level dividers. We're going to put 4 underneath terror level 3, 5 between terror level 2 and terror level 3, the terror level 2 divider, and then 4 on top of that. And that will go there. We have our 4 fear in the fear pool. We are going to shuffle up the cards. I no longer will roll a die, considering there are 24 of these suckers. So we're just going to, trust in some good shuffling here. And cut. This will be our Blighted Island card. We have 2 Blight, because there's 1 player, or 1 spirit, I should say, plus the Eric Royce Loves You Blight. Bam. right there. I'll put this blight on the board in land 4. Let me set up the stuff that's on the board before we start doing all the special rules from Habsburg. We will start with 2 explorers in land 3. I'm sorry, 2 Dahan in land 3, 1 Dahan in land 1. We have the wetlands Dahan in land 8. There were 2 of them. And then we have the mountain Dahan in land 5. We're going to have a city on land 2 with the disease. And then we're going to have a beast in the lowest numbered land that does not have a pre-printed setup icon, which is land number 6. And finally, we have a town in land 7. I'm going to set the invader deck. Invader deck will have 5 stage 3 cards. So I rolled a 3. So here are the 5. I took 1 out. We're going to shuffle the stage 2 cards. Now notice the coastal land card comes out of the game. Just remove it from the invader deck. We're going to roll a die, roll the 4, so we're taking out that card. Now I'm going to keep rolling. We're going to get the next 2 I roll. So I rolled a 6, that'll be the last one on top. I rolled that, that's a 6, so the last one on top. Then we're taking this card. It is the Salt Deposits card. That's a fun one. We'll get there and explain how it works once we pull it out. And now I need to get one of these stage 1 cards. Roll the die, roll the 1. This will go here, and that is our invader deck. I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. All right, it's a false alarm, but it's going to happen, so stay tuned. All right, Habsburg mining expedition. Oh, I need to shuffle up some power card decks. So let's do that. So Habsburg mining expedition, additional loss condition, land stripped bare. At the end of the fast power phase, the invaders win if any land has at least 8 total invaders blight combined. So that does give, so say, actually I noticed the end of the fast power phase before. I lost once on this. I still would have lost if I had played to the end of the fast power phase. So we need to make sure that we're not letting 8 invaders blight combined end up in any one land. So that's super interesting and indeed can be a challenge. In the game that I won, I had 7 invaders plus blight combined in one land at the end of the second round. So it's pretty easy to get there pretty quickly with these guys. We have the escalation. So on the 3 stage 2 cards that are not the Salt Deposits card, we have mining tunnels after advancing the invader cards. On each board, explore 2 lands whose terrain does not match a ravage or a build card. So that's something to consider. And now we have the various levels of Habsburg mining expedition. So level 1 difficulty is game effects. Advance avarice rewarded. When blight added by a ravage action would cascade, instead we upgrade. We upgrade an explorer to a town or a town to a city, and we do that before the Dahan counterattack. So if you have a ton of Dahan in there, and there's blight, cascade, there would be the upgrade, and then any remaining Dahan would counterattack. So if you have the thing like, you know, birds cry softly, which birds cry warning or whatever, where Dahan don't die for whatever reason, they would now have to counterattack against an increasingly difficult set of invaders. Careless, ceaseless mining is also part of level 1. Lands with 3 or more invaders are mining lands. In mining lands, disease and modifiers to disease affect ravage actions as though they were build actions. So disease effectively can stop the entire ravage action, but there's going to be a lot more ravage actions happening now because they could happen in the build phase, the build step, as well as in the ravage step. During the build step, build cards, build card. This is I got ahead of myself a little bit because it says during the build step, build cards cause ravage actions instead of build actions. So build cards cause ravage actions in lands that have 3 or more invaders. So those are mining lands. So build cards cause ravage actions in mining lands, but disease can prevent ravage actions in either the build step or the ravage step. All right, so it's just a lot to things to remember there. Now, level 2, that was all level 1. Because of course it was. Level 2, miners come from far and wide. During setup, we're going to add an explorer in each land with no Dahan. We're also going to add a town, we're going to city and a disease to the highest number of land with a town setup symbol. All right, so let me go ahead and do that now. I think this minor power deck is sufficiently shuffled. We'll do one cut. There we go. Put that over here. Great. So we're gonna put. First, we'll one other thing. We'll explore into each land with no setup and during. So this isn't an explorer, it's just add. So I'm just making sure the wording's right, because the level 6 will kind of mess with this, but this is add. So it's not a full explorer. We're adding one explorer in each land with no Dahan. So we're adding explorer here, an explorer here, an explorer here, and an explorer here. We're now going to add a city and a disease to land number 7, because land number 7 is the one that had the pre-printed setup symbol for a town. So that is done. Mining boom is level 3 after the build step. We're actually going to ignore this because mining boom 1 is replaced by mining boom 2, which is a level 5 thing. So I will explain what this does in a second. We're going to go to level 4 instead. Untapped salt deposits. During setup, remove the stage 2 coastal lands card before randomly choosing stage 2 cards. Place the salt deposit card in the second stage 2 card, and now that we did the deck order properly, right? So I've already taken care of this this change when I did my invader deck, yeah, they do tell you that the escalation here does ignore the salt deposits card. So I do like that. There seems to be a lot of little things that are clarified a little bit better in this expansion. So I appreciate the help to the player as they're trying to get their head wrapped around some of these new rules. We have level 5, Mining Boom 2. Instead of Mining Boom 1, after the build step on each board, choose a land with an explorer. Build there, then upgrade one explorer. Build normally in a mining land. So in a mining land, even though a mining land normally does a ravage when they have a build, this says, hey, undo that. Even a mining land will just do a normal build when it's pursuant to level 5. So that's helpful to know. And then finally, we have the Empire Ascendant during setup and during the explore step. This only matters during the explore step. So if you're doing mining tunnels when you're exploring, that doesn't trigger this. It's only during the explore step. On boards with 3 or fewer blight, add 1 extra explorer in each land successfully explored. Max 2 lands per board per explore card. So we're going to do the initial explorer, and we're going to add 2 explorers because we do not have 3 blight on our board yet being the appropriate word. So we're adding 2 explorers here, and we're adding 2 explorers into land 5. The invader cards are going to advance because setup is done. And now note, that build is not going to be a build, it's going to be a ravage, but that ravage can be prevented by that disease. So lots of interesting things happening already. All right, let me check the chat. Nothing new. I think that is all the rules overhead. Let me go through my unique power cards with darkness. Darkness, card number 1. Reach from the infinite darkness. It is a fast power. It has a moon, it has an air, and it has a animal tag. Abduct up to 2 of your presence of any spirits. Obviously, in a solo game, we're only doing ourselves. From any land on the island, ignoring land type restrictions on moving. Land type restrictions on moving presence. So if you're playing with Volcano, we could move Volcano's presence to the infinite darkness. Each spirit's presence in the infinite darkness grants them +1 range with all their powers for this turn. I do wish that was a continual effect that was like on the infinite darkness, but I guess that could be OP in some levels, but like you're taking presence off the board. I don't know. I wonder why that's. Maybe it just would be a rules overhead thing. That'd be too much, but I think that would have been interesting as a more continuing effect and at least more useful in a multiplayer game. All right, Terror of the Hunted. It has a moon and an animal tag. That's really important. Again, we'll get to our innate powers in a second. It's a slow power, range 0. Target land has to have invaders. If beasts are present, we do 1 fear and add a strife. then add one fear. I'm sorry, one strife per terror level. So if there's a beast there and it's terror level 1, we would add 2 strife total. And if the target land is the Infinite Darkness, we will add another strife. Now, strife goes on invaders, and then when an invader escapes, they would escape the Infinite Darkness with that strife on it. That could be a really good thing to do. All right, that is a 1 cost power. Swallowed by the Endless Dark is also a 1 cost power. This one is fast. It has a moon and an air and a water. It is a fast power, range 0 with invaders, generates 2 fear, and abducts 1 explorer. If you have 3 moons and 3 air, you get to abduct 1 invader. So you could abduct an entire city, which could be super cool. And then we have this, which just has a moon and an air. Emerge from the dread night wind. It is a slow power, target land any. Add move your Incarnate to the target land, generate a fear off the top. If exactly 1 invader is present, abduct it. Otherwise, push up to 2 explorers' towns to different lands. So they cannot be pushed to the same land. Push up to 2 Dahan as well. Again, that's a 1 cost power. I do have the tokens out here for Moon, Air, and Beast because we will be tracking those. If we have 2 moon and 1 beast, we can do 1 damage at the land where our Incarnate is, and then you can push your Incarnate. If you have 3-1-1, you could do 1 damage where your Incarnate is, and then push your Incarnate. 4-2-2, you can do 1 damage where your Incarnate is, and push your Incarnate. If you have 5-2-3, you can move your Incarnate to the Infinite Darkness. It brings 1 invader with it. That's a super high threshold to get to. We'll see if that happens. It has not happened for me yet. Lost in the Endless Dark, you have to target the Infinite Darkness. It is a slow power. If you have 2 and 1, you get 1 fear per invader, and then you can downgrade an invader. Now, if you downgrade an explorer, it just comes off the board. At 4-3, we get 1 fear per invader. Again, downgrade any number of invaders. And then 3-2, we get to add a beast to the Infinite Darkness, and that's super cool because, again, when pieces escape, you can have a beast escape instead of your invaders that are there because you probably want to keep them in place. So hold on one sec. My sinuses still like to mutiny on me. All right, so that was a whole lot, kids. Um, I think we're good. So what are we going to do? We are going to put these powers over here. So I could probably I've set this out differently than I've ever done it before, and hopefully this is going to be better. So these are all the cards in my hand. I know I used to do the card cam and stuff, and that just became a lot. And I don't know how functional that was. So if people want it back, we can potentially bring that back by popular demand. But for now, we're going to play without it. We are going to do growth option 2. So I'll put that thing here to indicate what growth option I'm doing. I'm going to gain a power card. I'm going to gain a minor. We have Pact of the Joint Hunt. Now I'm really looking for moons. That has a moon and a defend 4. That is some exciting stuff there. If I have 2 sun, I also get to do a fear. Not like darkness really likes his sons. Disorienting landscape. We need to have a sacred site, push and explore. If target land is a mountain or a jungle, we get to also add a wilds. That I don't hate. That moon air combo is super nice. And then finally we have Gift of Nature's Connection. Target spirit gains either 2 energy or 2 of a single element of their choice. If you target another spirit, you gain an element of your choice as well. So this will go away. I'll keep the Disorienting Landscape, although the Defend 4, I might regret this. And now I'm going to add a presence. I'm going to add a presence from the top track, which means I'm going to take 2 energy from the top track. Bam. And I will add this presence inland 2. And then a piece is going to escape from here. So I had to put this somewhere on the board. I will put this somewhere. Man, that's rabbiting 6. That rabbit is going to be prevented by the disease. I'll put this over here inland 1. All right. Yeah, last game I got Dire Metamorphosis, which let me put a strife on the board with a Badlands. It was such a great card for this game. Oh no, I need. That's not gonna work. I need a Sacred Site if I'm doing Disorienting Landscape. That's fine. I'll give him. Oh, I have a Sacred Site here. Never mind. So one of the. So let's talk about the Incarnate. So the Incarnate for Darkness can count as a beast or can count as a presence. So that's super interesting. So all the art on there kind of shows what it can count for. A lot of the Incarnates can count as a Sacred Site as well, but I could choose it to not be a presence, right? So if say I had this here and it ravaged, I have to add a blight. I can say, not a presence, and I don't lose my Incarnate. But if I had an Incarnate and a presence, I might find it easier to get my Incarna back on the board. So if it ravens here, I can say I'll lose my Incarna instead of losing the presence. So there is a lot of interesting flexibility with this dude. So I actually do have range 2. I do have a Sacred Site, so I can count that and that as a Sacred Site, and that would give me the range that I need to there. I do think I want leave a trail though, and I could do this and this. Beast invaders. Do I want to give myself? Building. That's not gonna build. All right. We'll try this. Doing 1 damage there. This is super awkward. Yeah, it's not gonna do what I want either. I'm gonna do this. But then I won't have the beast. But the beast isn't gonna help me anyway because I'm not in a place to do any damage. So I like this for what it is. All right, so that's gonna cost me 1 energy for each. We'll do an element check. I have 2 air. I have 2 moon, I have 2 air, and I have 0 beast. So I'm not going to get a leave a trail of deathly science, which is my left innate, but I will have level 1 of lost in the endless dark, and that will be good. I could potentially get level 1 and 3 next turn, and I don't hate that. So we'll see how that works for me. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do Disorienting Landscape. I'm going to target the mountain, again, from a Sacred Site. This counts as a Sacred Site. I have 1 presence and my Incarnate, which can count as a presence. And I'm going to push this Explorer. I'm going to push this Explorer where? I'll push it over here. I could have, that's interesting. Do I want that? Nah, I think that's fine. That'll all work for next turn. All right, so that's done. Now, since I targeted a mountain, I'm going to add a Wilds. And then we're going to do Swallowed in the Endless Darkness. I'm getting 2 fear off the top. I'm going to abduct an Explorer. I'm going to abduct this Explorer, put him on the Endless Dark. I don't have 3 and 3, so I do not get to abduct another invader, but there's nothing else there anyway. So that is fine. That is my first turn. A little bit underwhelming, but should hopefully work. We're now going to go to the Blooded Islands effect. There is none. We're going to do our event card. We're just flipping this over and not carrying it out because of Jagged Earth rules. And now we'll do the invader steps. The invaders are going to build here. Build would be a ravage because it is a mining land, so we just pull off a disease. There's nothing to build in land 5. After the build step, we have to do a build action and then upgrade an explorer in 1 land. So what I'm going to do is a land that has an explorer. So what I'm going to do is I will do it in land 3. I think that will make some sense because I am there. So I'm going to do a build action on land 3, and then I'm going to replace this explorer with a town. So that's done. And now we're going to do our explore step. Since there are not 3 blight on the board, we're going to double explore. So we're getting 2 explorers into land 3. Hopefully I get a defend power. Maybe a little upset I didn't grab the one I had. And then we're going to get 2 explorers into land 7. Now remember, now since there's 4 in both those lands, since there's 3 or more in both those lands, those are considered mining lands. So they would actually ravage instead of build in the build step. All right, that is the end of that. Now we're going to go to slow powers. I get 1 fear because I have 1 invader here. Bam. And then I get to downgrade 1 invader. I'm going to downgrade this guy and take him off the board. So I did not get a fear card, which is a little unfortunate. Might have wanted to make different choices, but alas, that is what it is. And then we're going to go to time passes. Hello from Portugal, says Fabio. Glad to see you playing some Spirit Island. Yeah, I'm glad to see it as well. All right, let's make some magic happen. That's going to ravage and put a blight on the board, and I'm not all that upset about that. I am going to do growth option B again. Now, unlike, what is it, downpour, you have to discard 2 cards. This is not a cost of doing this. So 2 pieces escape. There are no pieces, so nothing escapes. All right, I'm going to gain a power card. I'm gaining a minor power. We're going to get Treacherous Waterways. Does not have a moon, so not that interested. Thriving Choke Fungus. Ooh, Blight and a Badlands. Yes, please. Nature's Resilience. Defense 6. That's interesting. You may instead remove a Blight. It has an animal, but not anything else that I would want. And then Enticing Splendor. But that's target a land that does not have a Blight, and that might indeed be a harder task than that meets the eye. Defense 6 makes some sense. I think I take the defense 6. Choke Fungus is very enticing, but I don't want to lose a presence there and have everything go to crap. I could just do this and add my Incarna, but it's fine. I think this will work. I'm going to add a presence. I'm going to add a presence to add a presence to land. It's range 3. I'll add a presence to 1. It's a nice place to get to. I'm going to get 2 energy from the top track, and I'm going to play. I think I want to save these 2 for next turn to try to combo something cool, and I'll put this up here. 1 and 2. So we'll do an element check. I have 1, 2 moons. I have 1 air, and I have 1 animal. It's going to give me the first level of both of my innates. So Trail of Deathly. I'm going to, well, let me do the defense 6 first. I don't have 2 waters. I wouldn't want to remove a blight anyway. So defending 6. We are going to, so we've done that. Then I'm going to do 1 damage at my Incarna site. I'm going to destroy this Explorer. And then I may move my Incarna. I do want to move my Incarna. I'm going to move my Incarna over here. I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's done. So 1 damage. I did leave a trail of Deathly Silence. I did 1 damage of where my Incarna was, and then I moved it. Now, remember, if it's the last Explorer there, I would have had to move it here instead, and I kind of want to do that because this needs to be a fear generator for me, and I'm a little slow to get to that fear, so that's not great, but hopefully that pays some dividends later. All right, as far as like the fear cards, and I can get multiple fear cards in one thing, which could really help, just the way this game plays out. But no Blighted Island card effect. We're going to do our event card. Event card is Cities Rise. In the land with the most towns, replace 2 of those. Oh, woof. In the land with the most towns is here. Replace 2 of those towns with cities. And that's interesting. Glad I have defense 6 there. We'll see how this plays out for me. 2 of those towns with cities. That's it. So healthy island, cities rise. Those 2 towns become cities. Woof. Beasts chase off the homesteaders. So push up to 2 explorers or 1 town from a land with a beast. That's interesting. It has nothing to do with there because that's about to add some stuff. I can push it here, and hopefully that card is not wetlands because that could be a little bit disastrous. All right, but we'll make it work. So it's going to be wetlands or sands. So you know, it is what it is. All right, careful defense when invaders ravage. If the land has the Han, defend 2. So we'll be defending 2 extra here, so we're defending 8. Let's go to the Rabbit Step. We're ravaging in land 2. I have no defense. I have nothing there. There's no Dahan. There's no presence. That happens. There's nothing ravaging in land 5. We now go to the Build Step. Well, this is a mining land because there's 3 invaders, so it's actually going to ravage. I'm defended 8. They do not add Blight, no Cascade. There's no upgrading. Nothing to worry about. The Dahan retaliate, and they do 4 damage, so we're going to kill this city and this explorer. That's going to get 2 fear, so remainder 1, our first fear card. That's done. This goes to Ravage as well. Instead, we just take off the disease. After the build step, we have to do this upgrade thing. Oh, the joys. So, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to build and take an explorer off. So the build adds a town, and then one of the explorer I took off upgrades to a town. So now remember they have 6 pieces of plastic there already. That's a problem. If it gets to 8, and at the end of the slow power phase, are still 8. The invaders will have an alternate win condition. So that could be super problematic. So we did the after the build step. We now go to our explore card. Of course, it's wetlands. So 1 and 2 will go here. And remember, because there's still not 3 blight on the board, and we get 1 and 2 over here. So invader cards advance. Oh crap, there was nothing to add, right. Oh, where did I add that first explorer? Did I add it to a land where I had presence? I think so. I think I added it here. Remember that when it comes off of there, it has to go to a land where you have presence. I don't remember to. Did I not add it there? I think I put it here actually. No, first explorer was there. I think I did. No, I pushed one from there. I don't remember where I put it. Like, if it was here, it wasn't here. It might have been one, actually. And then I would have just had to put my presence there at some point. So if it escapes, I could have added my presence there and then had it moved there. So I just assume I did that right because I can't refer. I don't think it would have mattered. Ultimately, I could have gotten to this exact board state without anything being messed up. Because remember, I had a sacred site here from the beginning, so all my targeting was correct. No, it wouldn't have been. Did they add it there? Shoot. How did this guy get here? I could have put him there. I think that was that explorer. Or I could have added that one there and then pushed that one there when I did the push, which would have made more sense, which is fine. So just say, assume they escaped that first turn, I just put it there, and then nothing escaped the second turn. Again, rules overhead, super fun. All right, let's do this. I'm going to move my Incarnate to a target land. I'm going to move it. Man, if I knew I was getting defend, I wish I'd tower the 100 out because I could get a strife on that. The fact that those two towns became two cities is kind of disgusting. All right, I'm going to push this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to get one fear off the top. If there's exactly one invader present, I'm going to abduct it. And I'm going to push up to 2 explorers towns to different lands otherwise, but there was one invader. And then I get the push to Dahan. I'll push the 2 Dahan over here. And I think that'll be fine. I don't love it. It doesn't set me up very well next turn, but then it's going to let me do some things over here. So Lost in the Endless Dark, I'm going to generate 1 fear per invader. There's only the 1, and I get to downgrade that 1 invader, so that city now becomes a town. And then that's done. I'm feeling a restart. I don't think this is going especially well, but that's fine. So this is done. These come over here. We go to time passes. And we will have to add this town somewhere on the board where we have presence. So I have 2 cards here. I'm going to do growth option B again, get another power card. A moon beast would be helpful. So we have renewing rain. We have here the monsters. We have the shore seas with hatred and an elemental boon. This has all the elements I want. Thank you very much. This is out. Yeah, it just if you have my elements, I'm going to very much want you. We are going to put this on the board. We're going to get 3 energy. This has to go on a board on the land where I have presence. I'll put it over here. We still only have 2 blight on the board, so remember, explore actions are adding 2 instead of 1. I'm going to add this presence into land 8. And I'm running a risk of this ravaging in land 4, which could be pretty gnarly. So I'm going to play Here There Be Monsters and Terror of the Hatred, of the Hunted. It's like hatred, it's just different. That's going to cost me 1. I'm probably losing this presence there, because that's going to ravage. 4 might be ravaging 2, because it's a mining land. It's all slow. Let me do an element check. I have 3 moon, 1 air, and 2 beasts. Remember, 1, 2, my 3rd moon's on my board. It's going to give me the 1st and 3rd level of Lost in the Endless Dark. And it's going to give me the 1st level of Leave a Trail of Deathly Silence. No, it's going to be the 1st and 2nd level of Leave a Trail of Deathly Silence. So I can do 1 damage there and then push because of the 1st level. 2nd level, I can do 1 damage. I'm going to destroy this Explorer that's out of the game. And now it's still ravaging, but hopefully I get like defend 1 per Dahan or something. A lot of things can happen there that I like. I do have presence there, it counts as a beast. So a bunch of things could happen with the event card and the fear card to prevent that from actually ravaging this turn. And the rest of this stuff is slow. We are going to, so it's not like Russia, which is good, where it's like, oh, if there's 3 explorers, it also matches the ravage card because that's insane. This is a lot more muted than that, but it is a little bit more to kind of keep on top of from a rules overhead standpoint. Marty says I have to go. Go when you catch up later. Good luck. Thank you, sir. I apparently will need it. All right, Healthy Island card. Blighted Island effect, there is none. Event card, here we go. Seeking the interior. In each coastal land, push one explorer, one land inland. That's trash. Woof. All right, so this is going to explore. This is going to get pushed here. That's a lot of pieces there. Oh, and then the blight. No, thank you. I'll push this here, and I'll push this here. Those are both getting pushed one land inland, and that's super interesting. All right. So that was no. We're stage 2. Never mind. I lied. Local diaspora. Right, because this was healthy. Yeah. In the stage 2, in the single land with the most invaders, push one explorer town to each adjacent land. This has 5 invaders. This has 5 invaders. That's about the blight no matter what I do. This is fine. I'm going to push this here, push this here, and push this here. I think that will work. So I could choose which one. They both had 5. I chose this one. I don't want to. I feel like I can do things with that one. Blight's going to be added, but it would add things to 4 different adjacent lands. Maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. Urgh. No, then the problem is then that's going to ravage. Yeah, that's going to make that ravage instead of build, and I don't want that. If I put an explorer there, then I'm losing another presence. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present. That could be helpful. It's 2 fear. That's a beast for that purposes. But then I'm going to have 4 here, so that's going to kill all my Dahan. Ah, that's an interesting choice. No, I got to do it this way. 1, 2, 3. Went back to the original plan. So local diaspora is done. And I get to explore or a town, so I could have left a town or an explorer. There's only 3 adjacent lands, so I did all that I could and carried out the instructions of the event card. Beast Prowl. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present. This does count as a beast. Invaders are present, so that's a fear. It's our second fear card. So hopefully there's some power in stacking those 2. And the Forsake the Barren Land. On each board, push 2 Dahan from a land with blight to a land without. Whoosh. That I really wanted those Dahan there. I have to do the entire instructions. So that's super unfortunate. Because even if it ravaged, it would only kill one of my guys. This guy would retaliate and wipe out 2. And that would upgrade to a town. But now, unfortunately, they're going to have to leave here. I will push them back to land 3 from whence they came. That's not exactly what I was hoping for, because I could defend 1 per Dahan would be irrelevant, all of that stuff. So that's really bad. So let's make it happen. Explorer does not affect coastal lands, so I'm going to put this here and this here as a reminder of that. And finally, each player adds a strife in a land with Dahan. Yikes. Well, that's not good. That will go there. We're going to do the invader steps. We are ravaging here. It destroys this presence. That adds a blight. We are ravaging here. Interest of Dahan. retaliates, he's dead. Again, that is not a direct from my power damage that I would put the thing on here. It's just a retaliate, so it's indirect, so we're good. We're building in wetlands, so we're going to add a town here. And we're going to ravage here because it is a mining land. When it ravages, we add a blight. We go blighted island. Back against the wall. It's a 2 per player. That is not going to work. +1 energy and +1 card play is interesting. I mean, you could do way worse. Oh, man. +1 energy, +1 card play. I mean, you could do a lot worse. But how am I going to prevent this sucker from blighting for the rest of the game? And I'm choosing to not treat this as a presence, so I'm not going to lose it, even though the blight got put there. Sure. We'll do this. So 2 blight per player. Remember, it's supposed to cascade, but it's not going to cascade. Instead, I don't know why I'm saying cascade weird. Cascade weird. It's supposed to cascade, but it's not cascade. I don't know. One of those. Instead, it's just going to upgrade an explorer or a town. So the explorer goes away and becomes a town. After the explorer step, we got to choose a land that has an explorer. We're going to do this here. We're going to do a build. I have to build a city. Do I want to build a city? I don't think I want to build a city. I'm going to do this in land. I got to build a city there. Woof. I'll do this in. We don't know where we're exploring to yet. So jungles would make me lose. All right, I'll build in land 1. I'll do this in 8. I'm going to build a city, and then we upgrade. Woof. None of this is good. I'll do this in 1. I'll build a city, then we upgrade this explorer to a town. So now explore. Of course, it doesn't affect coastal lands, except I didn't hit any coastal lands, so that's super fun. And it's going to be wetlands. That's really bad. So there's 3 blight on the board, so we're just going to add 1 explorer at both these locations. We advance the evader cards, and I can explore in 2 lands. Great. I will explore in lands 2 and 3. They're coastal lands. The quarantine prevents the explore from actually happening. That's not the explore step. It's all explore. So I could choose those lands and prevent anything from happening. And we got a strife there. So wetlands, 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 wetlands. We appear to have a wetlands problem. My turn. I have presence there and a beast there. So if a beast is present, we do 1 fear off the top and we add a strife. It's terror level 1, so I can add a 2nd strife. Target land is not infinite darkness, so nothing happens there. And then we're going to do Here There Be Monsters. I'm going to target land 4. I'm going to push this explorer to land 6. Generate 2 fear. It does have a beast there, so 1 more fear. And that's a fear card. Again, the beast is my presence, which is my spirit, which is my beast, which is all of it. So that was helpful. I have nothing in infinite darkness, but I can add a beast to infinite darkness because of the 3/2, so that's helpful. But I'm not getting this fear engine going, unfortunately, so that's a problem. There's a little bit of shroud to darkness that I've kind of been experiencing. Like, we really need to get you really want to get that extra fear as time passes and get that going. So we're a little bit behind on that. I would love to empower my Incarna, although I'm just going to need to reclaim. So we'll start doing the empower Incarna stuff starting next turn. Because I think I really will need to reclaim, get that defense 6 active and land 8 and all of it. So we're going to go to growth. I'm going to choose growth option A. I'm going to get 3 energy. I'm going to get a 4th energy because back's against the wall. And I'm tempted to gain a major. Because it feels like that time. Move my Incarna. I can move my Incarna to any land. I'm going to defend 6 there. Remember, that's going to ravage. This is going to ravage. All of this is not great. But the defense 6 will take care of that. Deciding whether I would need a major or not. This is going to escape. I can put this anywhere where I have presence. I'll put it up here, because why not? This guy heals. I'm gonna have 3 card plays. That's gonna cost 1. There's a card I want to drop. Probably drop the Orienting Landscape. Oh, move an Incarna anywhere. I'm gonna have to move this Incarna here to get a Sacred Site within range 1 for Nature's Resilience. So that is interesting. I don't love the Sacred Site crap. So I will drop the Orienting Landscape and gain a major and see what I get. Vigor of the Breaking Dawn can be good. Unleash a Torrent of Self's Own Essence can be good. Blood-Racked Plague can be good. And Unrelenting Growth can be great. Can be really good. Oh, what I'm gonna do. Dot get +1 presence. +1 range. I'm gonna be a moon shy to abduct an invader. At 0. What I could do is take this. Leave my presence there because you can do this in any order. And I actually move my presence to the middle. So that gives a sacred site. So that lets me defend 6 here. Take vigor. I don't love it, but I can get rid of it. I already got rid of a card. Oh, that's gonna build. Woof. That's out. It's 1, 2. Then I need a moon. That's interesting. Well, it lets me survive. I don't know if it's great, but that's what I got. So we're gonna put this here, this here. Element check. I have 1, 2 moons, 1 air, 3 animals. Gives me the first level of Leave a Trail of Deathly Silence, the first level of Lost in the Endless Dark. We're gonna do Reach from the Infinite Darkness. I'm gonna gather this into the Infinite Darkness. Get +1 range on all my stuff. Mostly, it's gonna let me kind of reposition a presence for next turn, which is just going to be helpful, I think. We're going to do Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. We're going to do 2 damage per Dahan, so we're doing 4 damage here. That's 1 fear. That's out. And we're defending 6 here, 1 away from a sacred site, so that's done. It could be 2 away from a sacred site. Because of the extra range from that. So let me do that. Let me have moved this here. It's 2 away from a sacred site for there, and then that will let me do Leave a Trail of Deathly Silence. I can do 1 damage there, and that'll prevent that from building entirely. 1 damage there. It's the only explorer, so it actually goes. It's the only invader, so it actually would trigger Terror Stalks to land, and this will come over here. And now I can push my Incarna. I'll push my Incarna over here. I don't have the 2nd level, so I can't do that twice, which would allow me to really load this up and just generate 4 fear a turn. So I'm getting a little slow with this Lost in the Endless Dark really starting to trigger, but it allowed me to not worry about that. I can deal with both these ravages this turn and hopefully have something in place for next turn as well, where I will probably end up, getting a major again. So remember, I got 3 card plays out because of Back Against the Wall. I got the extra energy, which is super helpful. I'm going to empower that Incarna next turn, which will also be helpful. We can start clearing out some of these towns in the slow power phase. So actually, let me move it over here, which will make a little bit more sense. We're going to go to the Blighted Island effect. There is none. We're going to go to the event. Remnants of a Spirit's Heart. A group of Dahan find a stony ridge with lingering blessings from an ancient mountain spirit. You may give the Dahan 10 plus health this turn. In Land of Dahan, invaders have 1 plus health this turn. Or I can do 4 energy aided by mountain. I only have 1 mountain in play. During 1 future spirit phase, you can get defend 4 in all lands. I'd have to forget a card to make this happen. I'd have to forget Nature's Resilience. The defend is still triggered. So that's probably useful. I'm not going to be reclaiming for a minute. So I'm going to forget this power. Does not affect my elemental threshold for Lost in the Endless Dark. So I'm going to reduce defend by... No, I cannot reduce defend to 0 in all times. That's a problem. I need that there, otherwise I would very much lose. So Fine. Dahan have plus 10 health, and invaders and lands with Dahan have plus 1 health. That's all we're doing. All right, hunting parties. For each land with a beast and a city, we do 1 fear, and we destroy the beast. That's unfortunate. 1,000 small struggles on each board with 4 or more towns and cities, and 4 fewer Dahan. We have more than 4 Dahan, so we're good there. We're going to get our 1 fear card, defend 1 in all lands, no big deal. And now we do the Ravage step. We're defended 6. The strife goes away. Build step. Build is a Ravage. We're defended 6. Nothing to build over there. After the build step, we're going to do a build action and then upgrade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wolf. Oh, so we're only going to explore in lands that are not mining lands. So we're not exploring into 7. So I can do this here. So we're going to build and then upgrade this explorer to a town. There were 7 pieces of plastic there, including the blight, but that will be fine. And now we get the explorer card. Explorer card. We explored to all non-mining lands. So we're exploring here. We're exploring here. We're exploring here. We're taking the wilds off of here. So I did this, 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 and this. That's a mining land. That's a mining land. And we're exploring into 8. Invader cards advance. So the salt deposits card is going to build on all non-mining lands, and then for the rest of the game, it's going to ravage in all mining lands. Super gross. Lost in the Endless Dark. We're going to get a fear. This can come off, and I can downgrade an invader. Take this explorer off the board. Very much not getting the fear I need. Still in terror level 1. That is not good. All right. I'm going to do growth option 2, growth option B, whatever. I'm going to add this presence somewhere on the board. This piece is going to escape somewhere onto the board. So those 2 presents can essentially go anywhere because I have range 3. And this can go only in a place where I have presence. This one can go anywhere. I am going to gain a major. No moons, so that's a thing. I'm going to get 4 energy. Any fast powers? That has an air and a beast. Wolf. Dissolve kinship is a slow. Angry Bear is a slow. Ravaged. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm going to put this here for sure. That's going to ravage and die. This is... I want all of that stuff to go away. That's mining. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 places that are about to build. Only 1 place that's about, well, 2 places are at the ravage, but that's gonna, it's only doing 1 damage. It's fine. I'll make a sacred site in the mid. Oh, I could put this here. Why not? That could be really good. All right, these are out. I'm gonna keep flocking my talents. Again, I'm not loving these majors, but they're doing the trick so far. I am going to drop Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. I'm going to play 3 cards, get backs against the wall. We're playing this. And I want a moon air combo. And a second beast for sure, so that's fine. So this is 4 energy. I have 3 air, including the moon, including the one there. I have 3 air. Each card is an air. I have 2 beasts, 2 animal tags. So that gives me the first and second level of loss, first and third level of Lost in the Endless Dark, and it gives me the second level of Leave a Trail of Deathly Silence. All right, in the fast power phase, I'm going to abduct the town because the terror stalks the land and I am empowered. So I should have empowered this. And now we're going to start getting some things there. Swallowed by the endless dark. So I'm going to put a reminder here and then just flip it every time I use it to remember that I can do that once in the fast power phase. Swallowed by the endless dark, I get 2 fear off the top, so a remainder of 1. Here we are, tower level 2. I'm going to abduct an explorer, and then because I have 3 and 3, I can abduct an invader as any invader, so I'll abduct that town. So those 2 go there. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. A Badlands would be super nice right now. All right, I'm going to do Leave a Trail of Deadly Silence. I'm going to do 1 damage. Oh, it's going to build a city. That's really dumb. I do 1 damage here, kill this guy, move, do 1 damage here. It's the last invader, and it is my power. To abduct a piece, it's the only invader in the land, so it goes to Endless Silence. I could push my thing again. I'll push it here. Because why not? Mining spaces are going to be a super problem. Actually, I'll push it here. Yeah, I'll push it here because mining spaces are going to be a problem starting next turn. We're then going to add a beast, range 3 of where I have presence in a wetland. I can move up to 2 beasts within 3 to the target land, so I could move my Incarna there because it does count as a beast. For each beast present, choose a different invader, 1 damage to each of those invaders, and I'm going to kill these. Yeah, I'll kill these 2 explorers. I could have done something by doing 1 damage with that and then doing a 2nd damage later and trying to kill the town, but getting rid of these explorers is helpful. It's good I have 4 things here. That's going to be 4 fear. That's a fear card in the solo game, so that's helpful. So just trying to make the best of, these aren't the greatest major power card draws, but just trying to make them work so far. Rory says, hello, everyone. Hope all is good. Mick James, Mr. Greg. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you. You know, the usual stuff. Haha. Nice to be back to Spirit Island. Yeah. I've played more than you might think, but this is my first time I've soloed in a long time for sure. So, but yeah, definitely nice to be back. All right, let's make the magic happen. We are going to get the event. We are in terror level 2. For every 2 fear cards currently in the earned fear cards pile, invaders do +1 damage when ravaging. That's gross, because that will mean that that is going to blight, and that makes me sad. On each board, add 1 beast to a land adjacent to a beast. We're good. This is going to be defended 5. So we're doing 2 damage in the Ravage. Because every 2 fear cards. Oh, there's only 1 fear card, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But it's still defending 5. So I can add a beast to a land adjacent to beast. I will add it here. Destroy a Dahan and a land with beast. There is none. And then coordinated defense when invaders ravage. If land has both Dahan and presence, defend 5. So we're defended 5 there. Fear card, terror level 2. Each player moves 1 explorer or a town from a coastal land. Don't mind if I do. I'll move this explorer so that does not build. I'm going to have my hands full next round as it is. That is done. I could remove a town here, but again, I'm already going to have 1, 2, 3 towns ravaging next turn. We got some problems. Ravage action, defended 5. This explorer is dead. Build action, we're only building on non-mining lands. That's a mining land, that's a mining land, nothing there to build. We're getting a city here, which is super unfortunate. Nothing to build here, nothing to build here, nothing to build here. That's a mining land, so we're good. After the build step. Oh boy, we got Lucy, we got problems. All right, we're going to cry a lot. That's ravaging, that's ravaging, that's ravaging, that's not ravaging. We have 3 places with explorers. So I'm going to build in 1. So we build. The explorer comes off, becomes a town. Oh boy, that's going to be a party. Alrighty then. I'm going to do slow. We did that. Now we explore. We're exploring into mountains. So bam. And of course, this 3rd explorer makes this a mining land. And we are going to advance. And now I can explore into 2 lands that are not mountains. Again, mining tunnels ignores the salt deposits card. I'll explore into 3. And I'll explore into 6, because, there's beasts there, and hopefully they will just die. Lost in the Endless Dark. I'm going to get 4 fear, which gives me a fear card, and then I'm going to downgrade this to an explorer. Because I had 4 things there, and I'm also going to add a beast into the Infinite Darkness. So that's done. That's my innate. Here are the monsters. I'm going to target a land where I have presence. I'm going to push this explorer somewhere. I'll push it into land 3. I generate 2 fear. That way it doesn't match anymore. Unfortunately, I will not get the fear because there's no beast there. But again, I want as few things ravaging as possible, especially since that would actually double ravage because it's a mining land. So this is going to double ravage. So I'm going to need to figure out what the heck I'm doing about 2. Because it's going to ravage and the build action becomes a ravage action. And it's all sorts of crazy. So hopefully these major power draws give me something amazing. Like a defend 8 would be super nice. All right. We are doing growth option 2. 2 pieces are going to escape. I'm going to have those 2 be the ones that escape. Obviously. We're going to... I could do bottom, I could do top. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, so let me gain a major. We're going to get 4 energy every turn. I might get 5 if I could do top, if I continue to do top track. And remember, I'll be able to take a town out of there. I can definitely make that not match the ravage card, so that will be good. Insatiable Hunger. It's a good card, but it adds a blight, so that's a problem. Infestation of venomous spiders could be real good. Settle into hunting grounds. Your presence can count as a Badlands and a beast. If I get 2 and 3, I do not have another plant, so that's unlikely. And Terrifying Nightmares. That could be a Mondo fear generator in a way I really like. But I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to skip 2 actions there. I don't see another way around it. I might be able to get the 2/2/3. Nope, I do not have the second Earth. Woof. But that's out. I'm going to drop something. I will drop this. So I've just cycled my major powers here. I can add a beast in a land where I have presence. I'll add it here, because again, that came off of the Infinite Darkness, and this Explorer has to go somewhere as well. I'll put this Explorer in land 6. I will play these 2 cards. So this is all my energy right now. Do I want to do top or bottom? Let me do an element check, see if it matters. So I have 3 air, 2 air, 3 moon, 2 air, and 2 beasts. Does not matter if I get another animal tag. Do I want to move a presence? The extra energy could be super nice. Don't think the move presence is going to matter. I'm going to be reclaiming cards next turn anyway, so I'll take it off the top, get 1 more energy. That gives me a 3rd animal. Unfortunately, I'm just 1 earth away from having infestation be really, really cool. I can add this presence anywhere. Oh, I could have done this in a different order too. Man, I really would love to have gotten a Badlands or 2 out, but yeah, I'll make a sacred site in the center. That is fine. So element check is done. I'm going to have the 1st and 2nd level of this. I will have the 1st and 3rd level of this. So I'm going to do 1 damage where my Incarnate is. I can move it. I won't. I can do another damage where my Incarnate is because of the 2nd level. I'm going to kill this town. That's a fear. That's a fear card. And now I can move my Incarnate. I will move it. Well, first, I would have done this and taken this town away. And then I did the 1 damage and the 2nd damage. And now I'll move my Incarnate over here. I'm going to add a beast to a land 2 away from a sacred site. I can gather a beast. I'll gather this beast in here. I'm going to get 2 fear off the top, and then I can skip 2 actions here. If I had that 1 earth, I could do 4 damage each time I skipped. Unfortunately, I do not. So I've done this. I've done that fast power. I've done this special rule ability, and I think that's it. So we're getting a blight here for sure. We're skipping those 2 ravages there, and then we'll have to kind of regroup next turn. All right. So this is the Salt Deposits card is rough because it says we never remove this card, so it's going to stay there in the Ravage space the rest of the game. So anytime that something has 3 invaders, it's always going to match the Ravage card that is Salt Deposits. So again, it could cause multiple ravages in the same thing and consecutive turns. So I really am going to need something that does something with these beasts and keep trying to hammer the sphere generation. So we go to the event, Lesser Spirits Imperiled. The invaders' spread is threatening many of the island's smaller spirits. You may tend to your own strength, which would get an energy. Discard one minor power per player from the deck. For each minor power that has a plant, remove a blight from the blight card, returning it to the box. For each animal, destroy one Dahan in a land with blight. I do not have any Dahan in lands with blight. Or I could spend 4 energy aided by Earth. Each spirit destroys one of their presence, then gains a permanent element for the rest of the game. Oh, that's probably too good. I have 1 Earth in play. The only way I can do it is losing this card. Yes, so I am forgetting Nature's Resilience, which I might regret. I'm destroying this presence over here. That gives me 4 Earth. Again, it's aided by. I destroyed the presence. Now I get a permanent element for the rest of the game. I'm gaining an Earth. Hello, Earth. Now that immediately goes into play, which is going to make this interaction way stronger. I have I have 1, 2, 3 animals. I have 2 air, and I have 2 earth. So every time we skip an action there, I'm doing 4 damage. That is really, really good. Quit the farm lands on each board. Push 1 beast to a land without towns or cities. 1 fear if explorers are present there. On each board, push 1 beast to lands without towns or cities. Sure. This targets a single land, so there's 2 beasts there, so 2 actions will be skipped. So I can move this beast. I don't think it. I think that's the way that works. Yeah, so the beast number can change, and that's still kind of set a trap. Now, if this was like a global effect, then it would actually could affect how things work at the time. But since it affects 1 board, the 2 actions that it was going to skip, that was set at the time I played this card. I'm pretty sure about that. If somebody thinks I'm wrong, happy to discuss in the chat. All right. Beast gather, beast everywhere, beast. All right. So 1 fear if explorers are present. There are explorers present. So that happens. Return to all pillars, and each board gather 1 or 2 Dahan into a land with Dahan setup symbols. I will gather 1 Dahan here because that is Dahan setup symbols. Even though that also does, that still carries out the instructions on the card. We're going to get our fear cards. We have 2, tower level 2. Skip the next normal build. The build card remains in place instead of shifting left. Oh, that's so bad because that means it's not going to skip that action. That makes me sad. Oh, it actually would build because the first action makes it go 4, and then it would skip the build. So it's not as bad. It's not going to ravage twice. But that's a little sad. So we'll keep this here. The next one is Panicked by Wild Beasts. Each player adds a strife to a land with or adjacent to beasts. Invaders skip their next normal build and explore a build and lands with beast. Whoa, there's a lot of beasts on the board, kids. So that's interesting. We're adding a strife with or adjacent to beast. I can add the strife here, and that will work. And now let's carry this out. So we're ravaging in lands that are mining lands. We're ravaging here. No, we're not. We're skipping that. I'm doing 4 damage. I'm destroying this city. That's 2 fear. Remainder 1 fear card. All right, because we skipped an action, so there's only 1 action left to skip there. That's a mining land. We are ravaging there. This presence is destroyed. I have 1 blight left on the card. 1 blight comes here. I could choose Yeah, I'd have to move my Incarnate. I can't. If I was gonna add an Incarnate with growth option A, I would destroy my Incarnate instead of the Beast, instead of the presence. But that's fine. There are no other mining lands. We're skipping the next build. Even though the build step is skipped, they're still after the build. So we have to do some things. I can choose a land with an Explore. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to skip the next normal build. This is not a normal build. So after this, we're going to choose a land with Explore. We're going to build. I'm skipping that build, and we're doing 4 damage, and we're killing all of that. Venomous spiders for the win. All right, that's out. That's out. That's 1 fear. Now, again, there were 2 invaders there. If there's only 1 invader there, my power caused that. It would go on Infinite Darkness, but there were 2, so that does not apply. All right, so this, we skipped the next normal build. I chose the land. We're going to build. Everything got destroyed, so there's no Explorer left there to upgrade, so we don't have to worry about that. We now go to the Explorer. We're exploring into jungles. They skip their normal exploring builds and lands with Beast. So we're skipping that normal build, Explorer. We're skipping that normal Explorer. Invader cards advance, because there's Beast in both those lands. The Salt Deposit card stays, the Mountain card goes there, the Jungles card goes there, and now we have to choose a sands or a wetlands where we can explore twice, and it's not a normal Explorer, so Panicked by Wild Beast wouldn't matter. I definitely don't want to go into 6 because that would cause that to become a mining land, so we're going to explore into 4, and we'll explore into 8 because of mining tunnels. That is our last time we have to worry about that escalation. After that, all we have to do is we'll be having stage 3 cards. Oh, and this card does not shift, so it will stay, and we'll have the mountains and jungles happening next turn. So we got land 1, which is looking like a big problem for sure. So this goes away, and this goes away. Alrighty then. That's big, skipping those explorers, because those would both become mining lands, and now we don't have to worry about that, because that would be ravage, because there'd be 3 in both, and that would be a serious problem. Lost in the Endless Dark. I'm going to add a beast here. I'm going to get 4 fear. It's a fear card. I'm going to downraid this town to an explorer. If I had 4 and 3, I would get 4 more fear. So huge fear generation in late game. We're going to, so this is done. I'm probably going to end up skipping stuff there with Venomous Spiders next turn. I don't see how that's not the thing I do. Terror of the Hunted. I'd say wouldn't mind if that ravaged. If I got like an Explorer in there. So before it builds, because I have the 2 Strife set up there pretty well. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces there, so that's a little scary. We're at terror level 2. The beast is present. I could add 3 blight there right away. There's 3 strife there. All right, so a beast is present there. It's my Incarna. We're going to get a fear and add a strife. And since it's terror level 2, I'm adding 2 more strife. excuse me. Actually, I'm gonna actually target Infinite Darkness, which will let me add 4 strife. 1 because there's a beast there, and I still get that fear. 1 because 2 1 for each tower level, and then 1 because it's the Infinite Darkness. So bam. So all of the invaders in Infinite Darkness have a strife on them. That I dig. I think that makes the most sense. So we did Tower of the Hunted. We're gonna go to emerge from the Dread Knight. Add our move. Prevent that build. Move it. Nah, it's not gonna be good. Maybe. All right, we'll go here. We'll get 1 fear. That's a fear card. Terror level 3. I'm going to push these to different lands. I will push this one here and this one here. Push up to 2 Dahan. I'll push these 2 Dahan here. So that should work out really well. Done. All right. Time passes. Get all these cards over here. Someone's going to go be like, you made a mistake at this part, because like this seems to be going a lot better than it should be. I'm going to reclaim my cards. All the pieces in the Infinite Darkness escape, including the beast. I'm going to put the beast has to go where my presence is. I can move my Incarnate in any order. So I'm going to put my Incarnate here. I'm going to put this beast here. I'm about to do 8 retaliate here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put this town here. And these explorers have to go. Put this 1 explorer here. I do not want to have them go where there are 3. Put this guy here and this guy here. Any ignore strife is going to make me really cry. So everything got released. I moved my Incarna. I'm going to gain a power card. I'm going to get 5 energy. And I'm definitely playing Venomous Spiders. I have this that's for the rest of the game, right? Yeah, that's really good. Do I take a minor? Not adding a presence. Good to get at the 4 card plays, but you know. Definitely that's my card this turn. So like getting a major this turn seems like a mistake. Let me get a minor. Hazardous things. None of these have air. Whatever I take is essentially going to be fodder for that could be good fear. Yeah, whatever I take is essentially going to be fodder for a major next turn. So whatever. I took Fire in the Sky because it's 2 fear, could come in handy. 2 more card plays. Abduct. Oh, that's sick. And here there be monsters. That is all. Nope. Leaves me with 1 energy because I got 5. Thanks it back against the wall. I've done all my growth. I just have this back from Terror Stalks the Land. Do element check. I have 1, 2, 3 moon. I have 1, 2, 3 beast. I have 1, 2, 3 air, and I have 1, 2 earth. All right, I'm gonna do Swallowed by Endless Dark. I'm gonna target land 7 where I have presence, so 2 fear off the top. I can abduct this explorer, and then I can abduct 1 invader. So jungles are having nothing to build in them, which is super nice. Venomous spiders. I'm gonna gather a beast and add a beast. I get 4 fear because there's 4 beasts there, and I'm skipping 4 actions. That's done, and every time I skip an action, we do 4 damage. I can remove a town from here. Again, there's probably not going to be 4 actions there. At this point, there's going to be 1, 2 actions there. So that's 8 damage. So I'll put this town into the Infinite Darkness. And I have still, man, I had the 1st and 3rd level of Lost in the Endless Dark, and I have the 4. Getting to that 4 moon would be super nice. But alas, not meant to be. I'm going to do 1 damage to a town here. Move my Incarna, and then a 2nd level 1 damage to this Explorer, just in case there's +1 damage or anything. Don't want to risk it. We get to kill this Explorer, and then I can move my Incarna again. I will move my Incarna back to here, because that seems like it's going to be my big problem area. So I did leave a Trail of Deathly Silence. We are going to the Blighted Land effect, nothing, event card. Blighted Island. On each board with invaders, add a blight to a coastal land. Spirits may prevent this by destroying 2 presents. Definitely need to destroy presents. So Sacred Site goes away for now, and I'll destroy a presence from here. So I have 5 destroyed presents. That's a lot. On each board, push 1 beast to an adjacent land with no blight. It deals 1 damage there. 1 beast to an adjacent land with no blight. Sure. We'll go here. We'll do 1 damage. Destroy that explorer. During Ravage in every land, defend 1 per Dahan in that land. So super, super defended. Not going to matter. Fear cards, Terror level 3. Each player chooses a different coastal land, and each gather up to 1 Dahan, 2 damage per Dahan. I don't want to. So I'm not gathering, not doing it. I want all my dudes there to wipe out what's in land 5. That's Dahan Reclaimed Fishing Grounds. Restlessness. Each player removes up to 3 explorers or towns from a land not matching a build card. I'll remove these 2 suckers from here. Next, each player may choose a land with Dahan or adjacent to Dahan. Invaders do not ravage there this turn. I'm not going to do that because I want them all to ravage wherever they're supposed to ravage. And Dahan attack. Each player chooses a different land with towns or cities. Gather 1 Dahan to that land, then 2 damage per Dahan there. With towns or cities. So Dahan attack, they're just going to wipe them out without the Ravage. Oh, the joys. So these guys are all dead. 2 damage per Dahan. That's 7. I only needed 7 damage. I did 8. So they're out. That's 4 fear. That's another fear card. We immediately resolve that. We get each player removes 1 explorer or town from any land. I'll remove it from this land. Now we're always suddenly in a place where there's no friggin' source anywhere, so that's insane. That's done. All right. We are going to now go to the invader steps. Invaders would ravage in the mining lands. We're skipping that. We're doing 4 damage. I'm doing 1 damage. I already injured that. So 3 to the city, 1 to this town. That's 3 fear. So remainder 1 fear card. We are 3 fear away from winning. We now go to the build step. There's nothing to build or, mining, there's nothing to build or ravage in any of the jungles or the mountains. So those are both going to advance. After the build step, we have to choose a land. We're going to build. We're going to build a town in land 1. But again, we're going to skip that build action. It does not have to be a normal action. And we're going to do 4 damage instead. So 3 and 1. 3 and I'll kill this explorer. There's 1 remaining explorer. That's 2 fear because I killed the city. The remaining explorer is upgraded to a town. He retains the strife. All right, that's out. So we did after the build. We now explore. We're exploring into mountains and jungles. Bananas. There is a source to 7. There's a source everywhere because coastal lands, and we have the 2 remaining towns there. If it explored into sands, we would have actually wiped all those suckers out, but it did not. So these come up here. So we have 3 Ravage cards next turn and 1 build card. Now remember, normally when you have the thing that gives you the break where I skip a build, there is no Ravage, but because of salt deposits, there was a Ravage. All right, we are going to. I lost a lot of presents. Woof. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so we're going to do Lost at the End of the Stark. I'm going to get 3 fear, remainder 2. And Mr. You win! I'm going to downgrade one of these suckers, add a beast. This city becomes a town. Remember, we didn't win on a Terra level 2 victory or Terra level 3 victory with those cities because we had that city on this board. But as soon as I downgraded it, now we would have won that way as well. So we either got a Terra level 3 victory or we got a total fear victory, depending on how you cut it. But Lost at the End of the Stark for the win. And then here there'd be Nonsters. Again, I could have generated. I would have not actually had. Oh, I had it done it here, so I would have been able to target this land, push that explorer up there, and generate 2 more fear. And there's no beast there, so it'd be just the 1. But that's one hell of a turn. So, all right. So darkness is cool. As I said when I started, like I do think darkness presents a very nice puzzle. It's one of my favorite of the Nature Incarnate spirits. Some of them I just feel like have been really, really broken. But I like darkness. I like wounded. Do I like darkness more than lore? Do I like darkness more than shadows? Especially since shadows has 17 aspects now. If I really wanted to get crazy with them, probably not. But it's a cool puzzle. Mining Expedition very much changes the game. That is a lot to kind of think about, and kind of stay on top of. So again, the rules overhead for the win. But I wouldn't have a problem keeping them in the rotation of adversaries. It's not like Russia where I just prefer not to play against, or England, whereas I'm only going to play if I really want to go for a fear game and I have the extra time, right? Because Russia, I mean, England, fear games tend to take a very long time with most spirits, but breath really can churn out that fear. I mean, you start getting 4 things there a turn. I mean, that's just, again, just a fear card, and the fear deck's not that bad. 4/5/4 is not awful. If I had to draw majors again, that's new. There's a lot there. I don't know if I want to read that. This is also so many new cards, man. Solidify Echoes of the Past. That would have been interesting, especially because that permanent mountain could have been really helpful. Bargain of Coursing Paths. That I probably would not have liked. The Land Thrashes, 2 damage per blight. That, I could have potentially gotten like full clean plate club here. The only thing that'd be ravaging next turn would be there. Obviously, I could have done some things there. Would leave a Trail of Deathly Silence. If something activates the beasts, I mean, forget it. Yeah, each beast deals 2 damage. Yeah, I would have won on the candy defense. So definitely had to come down to that last blight. Those 2 blight per player cards, I mean, they're so. When I first started playing, I kind of read it as you had to get rid of them, and then someone pointed out in one of these videos that no, it's actually a legit choice for the player, and I find them very helpful. That absolutely was what let me win this game, right? It kind of put me in a place where my margin was like 0, but I needed that trade off. If I could have had a bigger margin, but I still would have lost if I didn't have that extra energy and that extra card play. So I do like them for solo play. I think my win rate goes way up though when I keep them. Other than times where you just can't keep them, like you just like, well, if I keep this card now, I lose. The fact that Habsburg, when it would cascade and instead upgrades, does make them a little safer if you think you can really limit the number of times where you're adding blight. Venomous Spiders obviously was exactly what I needed, but you know, you are upgrading, so you're going to keep making it tougher and tougher and tougher, and eventually you're going to need to find a way to do that damage, and that's where getting that elemental threshold for venomous spiders, where I was doing that 8 damage, and being able to choose, since I always had an explorer, to choose, I'll do this build here. Skipping that build, 4 more damage, is a really nice combo. What was that card? Yeah, venomous. I did not have the threshold in my last game where I won off camera, but venomous spiders came in really big. But the card that really won me the game off camera was, man, it's gonna be like, this deck got so much bigger. Remember how small the Sleep and Never Waken? Remember how small the major power deck used to be with just the base game? It's absolutely sick. But yeah, it just crushes your elements. Invaders skip all actions in target land. It's like, yes, please. And then it's like, remove 2 explorers in the target land, and then remove 6 from all your lands. It's like, and then 1 fear per the 2 that you remove, just as like icing on top. But super, super cool. Having all the terror level 3 cards was super nice. Too many monsters. Each player removes 2 explorers and 2 towns from a land with beast, or 1 explorer town from a land adjacent to beast. Each player may downgrade a town or a city in a coastal land. Just really really good fear cards. Kind of everything super came together. Jonathan K, sweet win. Have not tried the spirit yet. Seems like a fun one. Yeah, I would recommend. Look, if you want a challenge, I very much like breath and what it does. Um, the infinite darkness is pretty wild. The fact that your incarnate doubles as a beast is easy to forget, but if you remember that, and the incarnate is super flexible. I am surprised that spirits with incarnates don't have 1 less presence, because now it's a big difference, right? It just allows you to be in more places on the island. Um, and early on, it's like, I mean, you essentially have 3 presence on the board. 1 which is this like beast slash like damage dealing thing. Like, it's really wild. How much the incarnate can really help. But yeah, I really like breath. I'd recommend them. I mean, the others are fine. I mean, whirlwind. Anytime you give me 6 unique powers, that mechanic and stacking them up, I did not find that puzzle all that difficult to pull off, and I found it really sick. But Emberite Behemoth is absolutely broken. Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, you think about Jagged Earth when you got like Fractured and Starlight, and you're like, wow, like just like what really cool spirits, and just some of these just feel really, really not that interesting to me. I mean, Hearth Vigil, Behemoth, I played terribly that game of Behemoth, and still we emphatically won. I mean, I just didn't understand how we worked like fully, and I took a couple of powers I shouldn't have. Relentless Sun is one I need to explore. I hate the art on Relentless Sun. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't. It very much looks like it's right out of Horizons for me, and I did not like the art in Horizons. It just looks like a different game. Just like what? Okay, I have a Tiger Sun. I find it not that interesting to you know does not capture my imagination the way a lot of the spirits do. So I'll eventually I'll get over it, and I'll play with them. And of course, the fact that Relentless Sun is right there next to Pixels the Magic Dragon seems kind of fitting, because that's probably my two least favorite art in the game. But yeah, good to get back to Spirit Island. I don't know when I'll be back, but I mean, now that I started, kind of broke the seal here. We'll probably start going through the 8 new spirits. I was talking to Daniel Gilligan. He frequent commenter on these videos. I met up with him in Ireland over the weekend because why not? But it was super fun, man. We talked about this game for a long time, and I do think that for me to really get out of the new spirits and some of the stronger spirits what I got out of the original spirits, I am going to have to start combining adversaries, maybe do like a 4-4 combo, but that's like a whole bunch of rules overhead that I'm not really excited about. So it is what it is. I mean, I'll get to the aspects at some point, and then probably put them in a box and never look at them again, just because, whatever. Um, there's definitely parts about that design process and thought process that just don't really interest me or engage me. And I know for every single aspect, there's someone's like, "Well, I will never play that base spirit again. I'll always use the aspect," and that's great. And that's great for those people. That's just not me. I just like the base. One less card, this nice little board. And yes, I do not have the foils. I really don't like the foils. Um, just the shimmer and shine on them, and the lack of heft is definitely not for me. If they were all like Horizons, like just a thin cardboard, I might have gotten them just for storage. But yeah, that shine on them, man, my eyes. I'm getting old. My eyes are. I have a hard enough time seeing some of the stuff as it is. I definitely don't need the little shimmy on there as well. It's like the disco spirits. It's Saturday Night Fever with Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares. No thanks. But this was super cool. I'm sure I made a mistake here or there. So anything that I did wrong, please put that in the comment section below. If you want to confirm that I did something right, that would be awesome. That would be like 1% of the comments I get on these videos. But be like, oh, thank you. I'm sure Daniel will give me a full treatise on how I could have played this a little bit better. But in the end, I didn't love that early game. I knew I wasn't getting the fear where I wanted it to be, and things like that. But I felt like I was kind of doing some things that might come together well. And then Back Against the Wall was a really nice fear card to make that possible. Had I not chosen that one, we would have ended up still healthy. That might not have been bad either. We probably would have had to add more blight than we did. But have been add 1 extra fear. I was obviously not having a problem generating fear. So if that went away, then we memory fades to dust at the start of each embedder phase. Each spirit forgets a power or destroys one of their presence. It would have been a much longer game. I think this still might have ended up with a win, but it would have been a lot uglier for sure. I mean, that extra health and that extra card play every turn really, really came in handy. So I'm with that. Jonathan K, 100% agree. Want thin boards for storage reasons, but the foiling is awful. Yeah, really bad. I do not. Things that make me go, about Flat River Group are great in the games and their decisions. But the foils are not nearly as bad as the premium Invader board. So, there is that, as if that's saying much. It's not, I promise. But wow, 3 o'clock. Got this in 2 hours. Feel good about that. Really nice to revisit old times and have a early afternoon stream and story time with Greg and solo playthroughs. It's just exciting times here. But I hope to stream one more time this week. I did just learn a small card game called Super Hot. Picked it up for super cheap at PAX Unplugged. I do like it. For those who don't know, it's a VR game. It was originally a video game. It's like VR, and the time in the game only moved when you moved, and the game tried to encapsulate that idea and card mechanics and did like a decent job with it. It's like a weird little deck builder kind of thing going on. So I've enjoyed learning that. So I might try to get that on the channel. Interested maybe doing 20 strong with the Too Many Bones deck. Euthia is something that I would really want to learn. Just am not in a place where I can do it justice. So I'm going to probably put that off for a little bit. And I did just get Primal. So a bunch of things are coming in at the absolute wrong time for me, if I'm being overwhelmingly honest. So if Primal came in 2 years ago, that would have been great. It came in 4 years after I ordered it, and it looks awesome. Top of my box is a bubbly mess, so we'll see if they address that. But other than that, all the components look great. Might actually unretire from miniature painting and just prime those suckers up and do some dry brushing, because I do think those minis kind of beg for it. But we'll see. We'll see. I haven't mini painted in a very long time. So many ideas, kids. But yeah, right now, happy to get back to Spirit Island, and feels familiar. Really appreciate the chat, and I hope everyone's having an amazing day. And until next time, happy gaming.
Solo.